Hi everyone, in this video we're going to cover how Hikaru Nakamura became the world champion in Fischer chess. So in this game he's playing against Ian Nepo for the finals. They actually tied before, so this was a tiebreaker. He actually offered a draw and Jan accepted it, so that was funny. Now in this position, Hikaru is white, Ian Nepo is black, and let's go over this game. Now white starts with pawn b3. Generally in Fischer chess it is a good idea to open the bishop's diagonals. Jan does the same thing. Hikaru goes for the center with e4 and black does the same thing. Pawn g3, pawn g6. So it is very similar right now. It is copying each other. And now Hikaru attacks the center. Jan, in typical fashion, he also plays aggressively and attacks the center as well. And now bishop captures on e5. Now the bishops are attacking each other. Jan actually captures his pawn, and now the opponent captures the bishop on h1. Now Hikaru didn't lose his bishop because he can capture this back. The queen is also protecting it, and that is exactly what he did. Jan captures the pawn. Hikaru brings the bishop back, trying to do a queen trade. Now, if there's a queen trade, Hikaru's rook will be going on the e file, so he will have the center file advantage. Jan doesn't accept it, and if Hikaru captures, the same thing will happen for Jan. Now Jan will have the center advantage. So Hikaru decided to block this. Queen goes to h5. Hikaru's queen goes to here, putting pressure on this pawn. Now he wants to capture it. Two attackers, only one defender. Jan's knight go to h6, protecting that pawn, and now we have some knight movement. Same for Jan. Rook goes to f1, so Hikaru actually is trying to capture this pawn again. And in most of the games, there's actually like a breaking point like this one. We usually try to capture something that the opponent has a weakness on. Since this is an isolated pawn, this is going to be Jan's weakness. King goes to b7. This is connecting the rooks, something we try to do in regular chess all the time. And now Jan brings a knight to g4. Now, Hikaru actually makes a blunder. He captures a pawn with the queen, and now the pawn on h2 is hanging. So Jan accepts this trade, and then Hikaru loses the pawn on h2. Rook goes to e1. Black is attacking white's knight. Knight goes back. Bishop goes to e4. And now Hikaru is making a brilliant move. Pawn is going to d5. The pawn is protected by the knight, so they can't capture. The opponent's knight has to go somewhere. And then there's even a pawn d6 idea in the future. This can actually help white disrupt black's pawn structure. If they capture it, they're going to have two isolated pawns in the middle. So Jan's knight goes to the corner. And now king goes to b2. Now Hikaru is connecting the rooks, which is something we try to do in a lot of our games. Bishop goes to f3, and then the idea that I was talking about, pawn goes to d6. Jan didn't capture this, but if he did accept this, look at the pawn structure. Right now, black has a lot of pawn islands compared to white's two pawn islands, and this is a huge weakness. White can try to attack this in the future. Of course, the bishop is protecting d1, but this is going to be something that white can try to take advantage of easily. That's why Jan didn't capture it. He pushed the pawn to c6. Knight goes to c4, protecting the pawn. Black brings a knight blocking this file, and now he's also attacking that pawn. Now, Hikaru blocks the file, so only the bishop is protecting this knight right now. Knight captures it. King captures it. Bishop goes to g4. Rook goes c3. So Hikaru is actually doing a sneaky attack, and Jan didn't realize this. He moves the pawn to h5. Instead of doing this move, he should be actually moving the rook. And now rook goes to e1. Right now, Hikaru wants to capture this bishop on g4, and then the knight will be protecting that rook as well. Since we are making a battery attack, we want to capture the opponent's rook on e8 too. So Jan decided to give a rook for a knight, but this actually gives Hikaru a good advantage. Now Ian does this fork, however, there's this move, rook e8. If they capture this rook, he can capture the opponent's rook. If they capture this rook, he can capture the rook back with the rook on e1. And Hikaru is going to be keeping the advantage. Ian moves rook to f6, rook goes to h1. So Nepomniachtchi does have a pawn and a knight for Hikaru's rook, but you will see how the game continues. Now Hikaru got that pawn back, and now Hikaru has a pass pawn. So there's some attacks to the knight, and there are some Arabian mate themes going on right now. Of course, the knight won't be protected if it goes here, but it will be doing a fork right now. So Ian brings a rook to protect this d6 square, and then Hikaru brings a rook attacking that knight. Ian pushes the pawn to d5. Hikaru brings a rook to f6, rook h3, knight d6. King has to go to c7, and now we're in the endgame. And this is actually an isolated pawn. Even though this is a pass pawn, if Hikaru can capture this, this is going to be a pretty much game over for Ian. This is a clearly winning position for white at the Super GM level. So there's some pawn play. King has to go to b2. Knight attacks the rook. So Hikaru does this intermezzo move, rook h7. And now we're making a battery attack. We want to capture that pawn on a7. King goes to c5. And Hikaru, instead of capturing the pawn, is making a sneaky idea. Knight goes to f3, and now boom, pawn b4. Now if the king goes back, Hikaru will do this idea, and then white will win. So the king has to go to c4, which is what happened in the game, but after rook h5, black needs to resign. Can anybody see the checkmate after rook goes to h5? So the checkmate is going to be rook c5, that white wants to do. Like, black can try to like capture this, because now if we do it, they can capture the pawn. This is going to be a blunder. But like after white captures this, there's not too much they can do. Maybe they can try to go to here to capture that pawn, but again, rook c5 is going to be the checkmate. Ian could have stalled, of course, with knight e5, but at this level, there's no point in playing. Right? Alright. So Hikaru is now the new world champion in Fischer chess, and Magnus's performance wasn't the best. His dad was even concerned on how many blunders he was doing. In the next video, we will be going over those, how Magnus blundered in those games. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. See you in the next video. Bye!